It started as a joke. Jake had always been the skeptic, the one who scoffed at ghost stories and laughed at the superstitions that clung to our small town. Me? I wasn't so sure, but I wasn't about to admit that to him. When he suggested a night hike into the abandoned national park to debunk the myth of the Whisperer, I agreed. Maybe it was my curiosity or my desire to prove I wasn't scared. Either way, we found ourselves at the forest edge just as the sun dipped below the horizon. The park had been shut down for years after a series of mysterious disappearances. Local legends claimed that the Whisperer was to blame. It was said to mimic the voices of its victims, luring others into the woods. Jake dismissed it as an urban legend, but standing there, staring into the dense, shadowy trees, I couldn't shake the uneasy feeling gnawing at my gut. "Come on, Ella," Jake said, adjusting his flashlight. "Don't tell me you're getting cold feet." "No way," I lied, forcing a smile. "Lead the way." The trail was overgrown, the once-maintained path now a tangled mess of roots and foliage. The trees loomed overhead, their bare branches clawing at the sky like skeletal fingers. The air was heavy, carrying the scent of damp earth and decay. Every crunch of leaves underfoot seemed deafening in the stillness. We walked in silence for a while, the beam of Jake's flashlight cutting through the darkness. I kept glancing over my shoulder, half expecting to see someone or something following us, but there was nothing, just shadows and the faint rustle of the wind through the trees. About an hour in, we heard it, a faint whisper, so soft I thought I imagined it. "Ella." I froze. "Did you hear that?" Jake laughed. "Oh, come on. Don't tell me you're falling for this." "No, seriously," I insisted. "I heard my name." He waved me off. "It's probably the wind. Let's keep moving." But as we continued, the whispers grew louder. They weren't just random sounds carried by the breeze. They were distinct. "Ella, Jake, over here." "Okay, that's not funny," I said, stopping in my tracks. "I'm not doing anything," Jake replied, his expression faltering for the first time. "It's probably some kids messing with us." "Out here? In the middle of nowhere?" "Maybe," he muttered, but I could see the uncertainty in his eyes. The voices didn't stop. They seemed to come from everywhere at once, surrounding us, growing louder with each step. By the time we reached the fire lookout tower, my nerves were frayed. The structure was a weathered skeleton of its former self, the wood rotting and the stairs barely intact. Jake's bravado returned as he started climbing. "I'll check it out. You stay here." "You're not seriously leaving me down here alone," I protested. "I'll be 2 minutes," he called over his shoulder. "Besides, there's nothing out here." I watched him disappear into the darkness above, the sound of his footsteps echoing through the empty tower. Alone on the ground, the whispers seemed to grow louder, more insistent. My flashlight flickered, and for a moment, I was plunged into darkness. When the light came back, they were there. Shadowy figures surrounded me, their forms barely human. Their eyes glowed an unnatural yellow, hollow and unblinking. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. The whispers weren't coming from the forest anymore. They were coming from them. "Ella." They hissed in unison, their voices a chilling harmony. I stumbled backward, my flashlight falling from my hands. The beam spun wildly, illuminating their distorted faces. They had no mouths, no noses, just smooth, featureless void where faces should have been. "Jake!" I finally found my voice. "Jake, help." I heard him scrambling down the tower, his footsteps frantic. "Ella, what's going on?" He reached me just as one of the figures lunged. Jake grabbed my arm, pulling me away, but there were too many of them. They moved with inhuman speed, their clawed hands reaching for us. "Run!" Jake shouted, shoving me toward the trail. I didn't want to leave him, but the fear was overwhelming. I ran, the sound of the struggle echoing behind me. I heard him scream, a raw, guttural sound that sent chills down my spine. I looked back once, just in time to see him dragged into the darkness. His terrified eyes locked with mine before he disappeared. I kept running, branches slashing at my face and arms. The whispers followed me, growing louder, more frenzied. My lungs burned. My legs screamed in protest, but I didn't stop until I burst out of the forest and into the safety of my car. Collapsing into the driver's seat, I fumbled with the keys, my hands shaking uncontrollably. The engine roared to life, and I sped away, leaving the cursed forest behind. Jake didn't make it out. I tried to go to the police, but what could I say? That shadowy figures with glowing eyes had taken him? That the forest was alive with whispers? They'd think I was insane. So I kept quiet, haunted by guilt and the sound of his screams. I never went back to the forest, but sometimes, late at night, I hear it. A faint whisper outside my window. Ella, over here. I don't look. I don't answer, because I know what's waiting for me if I do.